Hey, you all, and good morning. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we're in beautiful Cooperstown, New York. And even more specifically than that, we're in front of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Now, I want to get this out of the way. I don't know a lot about baseball. The basic rules, as I understand them, one team bats, one team pitches. When you're batting, you gotta try to hit the ball so the other people can't get it. If one guy catches it, you're out. If the guy doesn't catch it, but then he can throw it to one of the three bases or four bases that you're running to, if they can get that ball to the base before you get there or touch you with the ball, you're also out. If you get out three times, if three different people on your team are out, you switch spots. The other team gets to bat and gets a chance to make points. And this goes on for what I assume is a determined amount of time. And the team with the most points wins. So that is... I thought to myself, do I know the rules of baseball? Yes, I know the rules of baseball. If I got that wrong, leave a comment in the comment section. But I did want to come out here. Baseball, so ingrained in Americana, in the American experience, that I felt it's my duty as a traveler to come here to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. In fact, the fact that I don't know a lot about baseball makes it probably a good idea that I come here and I can learn a little more about baseball. So when I came down here to Cooperstown, one of the questions I had was, why is the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York? People ask questions like, why is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? And no one seems to have an answer for that. But here in Cooperstown, why is the Baseball Hall of Fame here in Cooperstown? And I did a little research, went down a little rabbit hole, and the answer is kind of convoluted, kind of unusual. And so the story is that a group of people, a committee of very important men involved in the sport of baseball, they did a study. They formed a commission to decide how baseball was invented. And really what they were trying to do is they were trying to prove that baseball was a truly American invention. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't connected to different European sports. Some people believed baseball an evolution of European sports, and they wanted to dispel that myth. They wanted to say, no, baseball was made here in America. So one thing they did to come to their conclusion is they put out newspaper ads asking anyone with any information on the creation of baseball to contact them. And one man in particular contacted them. A man by the name of Abner Greaves said that he knew exactly where and when and by whom baseball was created. The man said when he was a young boy, he was here growing up in Cooperstown, he was playing with his friends, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, walked up famed Civil War general Abner Doubleday. And he said, hey, you kids, I just invented a new sport and I'm going to show you how to play it. And it says that he organized the boys into playing the first game of baseball here in Cooperstown. So it was decided, it was determined that famous Civil War general Abner Doubleday was the inventor of baseball. Now, I had heard this before. I remember when I visited Gettysburg, they had a statue of Abner Doubleday, and the tour guide mentioned that he invented baseball. Turns out that that may not be true. In fact, probably not true. Contemporary researchers looked into Abner Doubleday's and the possibility that he invented baseball. It turns out he never mentioned baseball in any of his writings. No one had any recollection of him talking about baseball that knew him personally. Did not mention baseball in his obituary. So basically, it's determined that Abner Doubleday may not have invented baseball, may have never played baseball, may have never spoken the word baseball, may have not even known what baseball was. But so that that was a turn. It turns out the man that made the original claim was shortly placed in a mental institution after he had made these claims. Not because of that, because of other things, but it's possible that he possibly made the entire thing up. So really interesting that like a very famous Civil War general had this attributed to him, and there may be literally no connection. But at the time when the Baseball Hall of Fame was created, it was the belief and understanding of the American people that Abner Doubleday created baseball, and because this was another thing, Abner Doubleday did not live in Cooperstown. He may not have ever visited Cooperstown. There's no record of him ever coming to Cooperstown. So it's just another part of the myth that Abner Doubleday invented it here in Cooperstown, and this was, I guess, the genesis of the Hall of Fame. They wanted to, draw tourism into the area after the Great Depression, and they used the legacy, the story of Abner Doubleday to promote the new Baseball Hall of Fame here in Cooperstown. But despite that story, and that's a good story. That's a good story. I think it's a beautiful town. It looks like a beautiful, perfect place. The leaves are changing. The beautiful Main Street area. It can definitely feels right in some way. But anyways, without further ado, let's head inside the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. All right, let's head inside. Okay, they said we start here on the second floor. We start out here with the history of baseball. You see this tower of baseballs. These are winning balls put together by a baseball club in the 1850s in New York City. It's the old baseball uniform there. There's the bats and balls. And it talks about baseball clubs, I guess, was an early form of playing baseball, because they called them clubs before they called them teams. They would wear these belts with the name of their baseball club. Here's the Baraboo Baseball Club. I wonder if that is Baraboo, Wisconsin, home of Circus World. This talks about the baseball craze that occurred in the 1800s. That I guess swept the country with its popularity. It says that when you actually use the telegraph here to report on baseball games. Oh, there's the Morse code for home, strike, and out, so they could quickly report on baseball games. This is a catcher's mitt and mask made for children. Kids like to get into the game. I like this. This is a homemade trophy with the two crossed bats and the balls hanging in the middle. There's this bat here. It was used by King Kelly. I said it was a very popular baseball player at the time in the 1800s, and you can see how much use this bat. It's full of cracks and scuffs. I guess he just kept using the same bat. I imagine now they probably would not use a bat that had cracks and holes and pieces missing. It says this deer hoof cane was given to him by the people of Allentown, Pennsylvania. There's different items here showing baseball's popularity. The candle holder, baseball candle holder, the bank, the figurines there. You can see the baseball board game. It says this ball is carried around the world by freelance journalist Ted Sullivan. It's a way to promote the 1913 World Tour. There is a baseball converted into a lighter, and then a baseball mitt ashtray. Here's some of the early equipment in here. It's different styles of catcher's mitts. The big padded mitt, and then the mitt that actually had the fingers exposed. I bet this is safer here than having your individual fingers exposed. Or of course there's these up here. It looks like they actually have your fingers sticking out. Seems like that's a good way to break your fingers. Some baseball shoes there. Those are tiny. I guess baseball players at the time had tiny feet. Talks about the creation of the modern leagues. Here is stuff from the Pittsburgh Pirates. It says that they won the first of 3 successive National League titles. So here they actually discuss the myth of Abner Doubleday inventing baseball, and they openly talk about it being disproven. And this here was the Doubleday baseball. I guess it says this was discovered in a farmhouse here in Cooperstown, and they made the conjecture that this was possibly the baseball used in the very first game of baseball. So an amazing artifact for the time when that was the understanding, but now we know that it was not. That's not what it was. Now they're talking about some of the individual players, and here's someone I've actually heard mentioned before. This is Ty Cobb. There is Ty Cobb's jersey there with the white elephant on it. It says it's from the Philadelphia Athletics, and some of the gloves and bats and shoes he used in his career. This is Cy Young, which I'm assuming is another person that is very good at playing baseball. Okay, I know this guy. Babe Ruth. I'm mostly impressed by the fact that he was considered the greatest athlete of his day, yet he has the same body type as me. See the Babe Ruth signed baseball and his uniform. And there's Babe Ruth's bowling ball. Apparently when he retired, he switched it up, went from baseball to bowling. And you can actually see he has his name etched in his bowling ball, Babe Ruth. Yeah, they have a lot of Babe Ruth artifacts there, different balls and bats he played with, different trophies that he won. And again, not very well versed in the history of baseball, but this museum does have just an amazing amount of artifact. Lots of balls, lots of bats, lots of jerseys. This is an exhibit on black baseball players, and they do make a point of saying that since the very beginning that black players did play on teams, and if you look at these pictures, there'll be primarily white teams with maybe like one black player. So in some ways, baseball was integrated in a very early time. It says we have always played. Of course, it wasn't always smooth sailing, as they were forced to segregate and play on their own teams, and did have to fight and struggle to be incorporated into the national teams. We have Jackie Robinson, the first black player to play in Major League Baseball. Let's see the Jackie Robinson doll there. And here we have an exhibit on women in baseball. Here is the 1940s women's uniforms there. Notice they have skirts attached to the bottom, not pants. So they would actually have to if they wanted to slide, would have to just expose their raw flesh to the dirt. We have the city of Peoria, Illinois there, and city of Racine, Wisconsin. Look at these different teams: city of Rockford, city of South Bend, Indiana, Kenosha, Wisconsin. It does look like all these uniforms are from like around the Great Lakes, kind of the area I grew up in. Oh, look at that! In Grand Rapids, Michigan, they actually named their team the Grand Rapids Chicks. Bunch of chicks playing baseball. It's the Colorado Silver Bullets. Here was a female team founded in 1994. They actually play against men's teams, and they actually had a winning record. Talks here about softball and how it was originally called indoor baseball, and then was later changed to be called girls baseball. It's the jersey of Stacy Pigno, and she was the third woman to win in a minor league game. So women have played in the minor leagues of baseball. I don't believe a female has ever made it to the major leagues, but yeah, they do play in the minor leagues. These are baseball souvenirs geared towards women. It says pink hats are the most common souvenir geared towards women. You see this apron here, this baseball themed apron, and this is a promotion from the Ladies' Day from the Boston Braves, because they had a game where only women were allowed to attend. This is the strike zone of Ted Williams, and so apparently someone constructed this on the averages of hitting based on where the ball is thrown in his strike zone. Over here it talks about the popularity of baseball in Cuba and other Hispanic countries. Okay, now they're speaking my language. This is the costume of the San Diego Chicken, who says debuted in 1974 and popularized mascots in baseball. And things like this, these are things I enjoy about baseball, the ridiculous characters, the mascots. I remember my dad taking me to Milwaukee Brewers games when I was young, and the only thing I would care about was getting to see Bernie Brewer slide down a slide in to beer. So this is kind of what I like about baseball: the pageantry and the absurdity, the entertainment value, and kind of the things that don't necessarily pertain exactly to the game. The San Diego Chicken welcomes us to a whole new ball game. I guess we are going into modern times. The modern baseball jerseys and equipment. A second base there. Those electronic baseball games, and some baseball themed beer there, Pirates beer. This is an exhibit on baseball injuries, but probably most interesting is the Tommy John surgery, named after baseball player Tommy John, who was the first to undergo this surgical procedure to repair the ligaments in his arm. And later this became a very popular way to fix arms. This exhibit talks about the different changes in equipment that is used. There is the Brewers jersey now. Brewers, that was the team that my dad followed when we were growing up. My dad would take me to baseball games. I didn't care much for baseball. I remember he would take me to a game. I would say, "Hey, Dad, can I get a hot dog?" And he'd say, "Yeah, absolutely." And then I'd eat my hot dog. I'm like, "Dad, can I have a hot chocolate?" "Oh, absolutely." And once I was finished with my hot dog and a hot chocolate, I'm like, "Dad, can we go home?" And then the rest of the game would be just him and me bargaining over when we were going home. I'm sure that was a great experience for him. This is interesting. The Big League Chew there. I remember that growing up. It was created so that kids could chew tobacco just like their baseball heroes. The irony, it says, is that tobacco no longer popular on the field, but the gum's still popular to this day. Talks about baseball in movies here. Some of the different movies featuring baseball. And this is a prop from the movie The Natural. It says that in the film, the main character carved this bat, Wonder Boy, out of a tree branch that was struck by lightning, and it had supernatural powers. And as I'm reading that, I am realizing that that almost exact scene played out in The Simpsons, which just right now I am figuring out that is a parody of that movie. I thought that was just an original thing. Does anyone else ever have that, where they see something and they're like, oh, that's what The Simpsons was talking about? It happens to me all the time. I remember when the news wouldn't stop talking about this, when Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire were both breaking the home run records at the same time. Here are the bats that they used. And if I remember correctly, I think that this whole thing may be tarnished. I think there may be some speculation on some nefarious things that were happening that were allowing them to hit this many balls that hard. Different pieces of baseball marketing: the teddy bears, the dolls. There's RC Cola cans with the different players emblazoned on them. Oh, there is a baseball colored bowling ball, and you gotta love the bobbleheads. Oh, there is a bobblehead of Abner Doubleday. Yeah, the legend won't die. Now, up here on the third floor, there is a Hall of Fame of sorts, but these are not baseball players. These are famous fans that did things that became noticeable, like Hilda Chester here, known for ringing her bell. This is Harry Thobe here, would yell through his megaphone. This happy lady here, Lolly Hopkins, again, would like to yell through a megaphone. And this is Pearl Sandow here, known for always listening to a transistor radio while the game's played. I think it is cool that they give the eccentric fans a bit of recognition here. And this is Yo-Yo, a fan from Philadelphia, known for dancing his way through the aisles. And he did a dance called the Mummer's Strut. And this here in the center is actually a ticket booth from Yankee Stadium. And here we prepare to enter sacred ground. Talking about the stadiums, which I'm a fan of, like, stadiums and venues. I just enjoy experiencing new venues. I would actually thought about going to see baseball games. Actually, probably more interested in just seeing the stadiums than anything else. This is the home plate at Ebbets Field. I think the fans definitely add a lot to baseball with their different signs and items here. This is Anaheim Rally Monkey. Said they would break out the monkey in late inning situations to help cheer on the players. You got the Cubs claw there. I always love the big foam fingers, things they put on their hand. And so yeah, some cardboard cutouts of the baseball players' faces. What's this up here? This says official green weenie. It says with a Pirates game, they would shake it at opposing batters to curse them. These are some seats from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Oh, another very, very famous mascot, the Philly Fanatic here. It says that he came shortly after the San Diego Chicken. So these two really were responsible for making Mascots popular in baseball. I love that he's just a big weirdo. He is a fanatic. He does not actually have a species. What he is, he's just a fanatic. He's just a big weird monster that loves baseball. I have some Mascot merch here, and then this coat and hat says worn by baseball clown Al Shanch. We need more baseball clowns. This is the pinwheel that would be on the scoreboard at Comiskey Park. Just a big ornate orb of flashing lights. Talks about the connection between baseball and Cracker Jack. The old song, "Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever go back." I haven't had Cracker Jack in a long time. Do they still? They have to still make Cracker Jack. I wonder if they still serve it at baseball games. Oh yeah, on this menu here. So a super dog is $3.50, a hot dog is $2.50. Cracker Jack only $1.25. And looking down here, now I remember why I liked Cracker Jack as a kid. I didn't actually like the super sweet popcorn. I liked getting these prizes. I remember sometime you'd get just a really lame prize, like it would just be like a piece of paper or like a little weird book or something. I always wanted something substantial, like a little plastic man. A large exhibit here on Hank Aaron, one of the greatest baseball players to ever live, also a champion of civil rights. Oh, you can see there is a crown he was awarded, the Babe Ruth crown. And here's an exhibit on baseball cards. Now, I had some friends who collected baseball cards growing up. I did not, just because I did not follow baseball. Oh, there are some non-baseball cards in here. There's a Batman card. There's Toad instead of Tide, one of those parody cards.
That's nice. That's really
And
nice.
oh look, there's a WWE card, a CM Punk card. Now that's something I may have collected. Yeah, a collection of valuable baseball cards here. I've actually heard of this before. So apparently, back in the golden days of baseball cards, kids would actually clothespin a card into the spokes of their bikes so that it would make a motorcycle noise when they drove. Of course, this meant that kids were placing cards in their bicycle tires that would have been worth thousands and thousands of dollars at a later date. Oh, look at this. We can actually turn the pedal here. Oh. Okay. Looks like the chain may not be on completely. But yeah, you would turn, I guess the wheel would turn, the card would go revving like a motorcycle. Here are the holy grails of baseball cards. They're so valuable that they're in dark little boxes so they're not overexposed to light. Let's see what's in here. 1952 Mickey Mantle. It says has sold in excess of 7 figures. Oh my gosh. On this booth in here, you can actually put yourself on a baseball card. Oh, I gotta sit down here and pose. So it's your team today. Okay, looks like we are in the locker room here. Okay, and they have the current uniform of every baseball team. See if we can find my team. And here they are, the Milwaukee Brewers. And I love this up here. I love they included this. The different sausages here. They would actually have sausage races where guys dressed as sausage would race each other. It's the bratwurst, Polish, Italian sausage, and hot dog that would run races. Pretty amazing. I definitely remember that. All right, headed back down to floor number 1. This cow here was part of a art project in New York City called Cows on Parade, where artists decorated different cows that we placed around New York City. I guess this is the baseball cow now residing here in Cooperstown. Okay, it appears we are now headed into the actual Hall of Fame section. And this is a pretty grand hall here for the Hall of Fame. Let's see some of the players inducted. Oh, and I guess it's not just players, also people that played a behind-the-scenes role. So this is the classes of 1977 to 1982. Kind of has a timeline here as we pass through the years. And we do have some figures here, Babe Ruth and Ted Williams. Now, the only thing I know about Ted Williams is what happened after his death. He was, apparently he had put in his will that he had wanted to be cremated and have his ashes spread, but some of his children stated that he had told them he wanted to be cryogenically frozen. So there was a legal dispute between his children on what to do with his body, to cremate it or to freeze it. That makes two opposite things. And the freezing children actually won out, and he is now cryogenically frozen at Alcor in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is 1936, the first class here. It did include Babe Ruth. And it is now time to exit through the gift shop. Unsurprisingly, a lot of baseball clothing in here. Also have the Cooperstown unicorn here wearing the Baseball Hall of Fame t-shirt. There's some Funko Pops here, including Lou Gehrig, one of the few baseball players to have a debilitating disease named after him. And these are Hall of Fame exclusive bobbleheads. You can only get these here. Oh, there's someone from the Brewers. Bobble, bobble, bobble. Buy some baseball cards here and hope that one day they're as valuable as the Mickey Mantle baseball card upstairs. You can actually buy some vintage baseball card packs here, although I'm assuming these are not loaded with $1 million cards because they're only $8 a piece. Oh, these are fun. These are the plastic blocks where you can actually reconstruct the different baseball stadiums. And you can get a baseball bat that says Baseball Hall of Fame on it. These are replicas of vintage autographed baseballs. Sadly, they do not have the Abner Doubleday ball for sale. And these are like painted baseballs, artwork on them. Now, admittedly, I don't know a lot about baseball, but I do know a lot about museums. I've been to a lot of museums, and that was an excellent museum, just how it was put together. I think there's a lot there, especially, if you are a baseball fan, there's so much there for you. It just really is a comprehensive history, all these different, pieces from the famous players, the balls, the bats, the jerseys. But I do think there's entertainment value outside of just the hardcore fans. There's an exhibit on the different stadiums, the entertainment in the stadiums, the super fans, just fun stuff, fun stuff as well. So I would say that is, clearly probably one of the greatest baseball museums, but also just a really well-rounded good museum. As you see the different gift shops here in Cooperstown, the whole town really is kind of focused around the sport of baseball. All the different baseball related items here. Yeah, it seems that the town of Cooperstown is basically just a baseball player's dream, a baseball paradise. I think this may be an old Masonic lodge here, by those symbols. And now it is a sports store. Here is a store that just sells bats called Where It All Began. Oh yeah, look at those different types of bats there in the window. There's ballpark collectibles here. And this restaurant is the Doubleday Cafe, named after the man who did not invent baseball. And here is another baseball-related attraction, the Heroes of Baseball Wax Museum. Now, I love museums, but I especially love wax museums. We definitely gotta take a look here. Oh my gosh, came up to the ticket booth here, and that is a wax figure. Okay, so how do I get a ticket here from this wax lady? Okay, so found a real flesh and blood human being, bought a token here, and put that in the turnstile. Then we take the elevator up to the wax museum. We got baseball carpeting in here. Okay, we're going to start out here with Roger Maris. And one thing I'm noticing right off the bat here is there's a bunch of coins and dollars thrown in to the exhibits. I'm unclear on what that was meant to accomplish. Usually throwing things into exhibits is frowned upon, but it seems like there's quite a bit of money down there. See Mickey Mantle there jumping up in the air to catch that soaring baseball. Very heroic leap and catch. And yeah, there's a lot of money here at Mickey Mantle's spot. Of course, makes sense since his baseball card is worth $1 million. Here is Kevin Costner in his baseball film Field of Dreams, coming out of the field there. I think he builds a baseball field in his cornfield so that famous baseball players will come back to life and play a game. Interesting concept for a movie. It's the historical first pitch at Yankee Stadium in October of 2001. So it was the first game played in Yankee Stadium since the 9/11 attacks, and the ball was thrown out by sitting president George W. Bush. This is Satchel Paige, was one of the early black players. There's a photo op of with Michael Piazza. Now they don't want you touching the wax figure, so they got this glass partition. But if you go on the other side of the partition, it creates the illusion that you are standing next to Michael Piazza. Here's Ted Williams, frozen in time as an unmoving figure, much like the real Ted Williams. In this room we have the Georges. As you can see, it is George Costanza talking to George Steinbrenner, who I guess was a character that, a real life person, but also a character in Seinfeld, and he actually never showed his face. And here's Wade Boggs riding on the back of a police horse. Now, it does have some interesting facts here about Wade Boggs. It says that as a ritual, he ate chicken before every game. I guess it was like a superstition. Said that he woke up at the exact same time every day. He did the exact routine every day, and he would write the Jewish word for life in the batting box, even though he was not Jewish. These were all just parts of his ritual that he thought helped him play baseball better. Over here, we can sit in the dugout of the Yankees. All right, we got different hats here. The batter's helmet. Oh, that's not gonna fit. Ah, it's crushing my head. Oh my gosh. Get it off. Oh, I bet my glasses. Oh man, don't put on a batter's helmet. It's too small for your head. Here, that fits a little better. The military helmet. The catcher's mask. And yet another photo op. We can sit up in the stands here and cuddle next to George W. Bush and Rudy Giuliani. We're sitting very, very close to each other. I guess there's two different George W. Bushes in the Baseball Wax Museum. What are you up to these days, Rudy? Here we got Ken Griffey Jr. and Ricky Henderson. And here's a scene from League of Their Own with Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, and then I think that's Madonna there. What's the line from that movie? There's no crying in baseball. This display here shows how wax figures are made. Got the clay bust there. Then the cast is made out of the bust. The wax is poured into the cast and then painted. Then eyes and teeth are all inserted into the waxy head. And there's a theater here where you can sit and watch a movie, baseball bloopers, so goofy things that happen during baseball games. All right, heading down to the second floor. Here is Yogi Berra, famous for his quotes. Always, heard his quotes without even knowing who he was. It's deja vu all over again. It ain't over till it's over. Although I do wonder, was Yogi Bear, was he named after Yogi Berra? Leave a comment in the comment section. This is Honus Wagner. Thurman Munson here, tossing the baseball up in the air. A very interesting haircut. Derek Jeter, that's a name I've heard before. You got Pete Rose, the hit king. I know he's famous for actually being kicked out of the Baseball Hall of Fame here in Cooperstown for betting on games. But I know him from WWE, where he actually had a multi-year feud with Kane. And Ozzie Smith over here doing some sort of impossible backflip catch. That's crazy. Did that really happen? This is interesting. Up against the wall here, we see a sliding Ty Cobb. I love the different artistic interpretations in this wax museum. This is Kennesaw Mountain Landis. He was a commissioner of baseball who apparently took a very harsh stance and banned several players from the game, accusing them of throwing the World Series on purpose. However, it stated that there actually was not a lot of evidence that occurred. One of those players is Shoeless Joe Jackson here. And you see he is being shown the door. He was banned from baseball by the commissioner. And there he is, the Babe, Babe Ruth. And he's possibly got one of the biggest piles of money here. Is this like a tradition? Are people like giving money to who they think is the greatest baseball player of all time? Are they leaving offerings to their favorite baseball player? And here is Lou Gehrig. This is actually him announcing his retirement from baseball due to him having Lou Gehrig's disease. And no, the disease did not already have that name. It was actually named after him. I guess the old joke is what's the irony of Lou Gehrig getting Lou Gehrig disease? Oh no, there he is, the man himself, General Abner Doubleday, the man that was once credited with creating baseball. Although the sign here does make it clear there is absolutely no truth to those claims. It's so interesting that this story held such life that to this day, this man that literally had nothing to do with baseball is so closely associated with it. But this man here, Alexander Cartwright, they state he did create baseball, at least modern baseball. Baseball's based on old European games, but I guess he modernized baseball and organized the rules and helped spread its popularity around the United States. Where'd you go, Joe DiMaggio? Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Joe DiMaggio there in the process of marrying Marilyn Monroe. Mariano Rivera and Greg Maddox. This is Catfish Hunter here. Says that the name Catfish was actually made up as part of a media campaign. They created a fictional backstory for him to sell to the media as him being a colorful character. And there is Jackie Robinson, of course, not the first black person to play baseball, but he was the first black person to play in the major leagues. It's Roberto Clement. Says he was actually quite the humanitarian, and he actually died in a plane crash when trying to bring relief supplies to earthquake victims. Wow. Here we have the tallest and shortest players to ever play baseball. This is Randy Johnson. He was 6'10", and then Eddie Goodall was only 3'7", and apparently they sent him out as a batter. The owner of the team told him to never, ever try to swing. The idea was that his strike zone was so tiny that a pitcher would not be able to actually get the ball in the strike zone. So actually, he said he did succeed in his mission, but I guess it was somewhat regarded as somewhat of a publicity stunt. And we end with a bit of humor with Abbott and Costello, famous for their baseball-themed Who's on First routine, where they engage in maddening confusion with one another because the players they're talking about have ridiculous names like Who actually being the name of the player that is on first, but causes confusion when the other gentleman believes that he is being asked who is on first, and but actually referring to Who as the baseball player's name. His name is Who. He's not asking a question. He's actually making a statement that Who is on first. And this just causes endless madness and confusion, with neither man taking any accountability for understanding how strange the situation is. As we exit, notice the ceiling here completely covered in baseballs. So I really love the Wax Museum. I like how it does focus kind of on some, it gives the history, but also focuses on some strange and unusual characters, situations, and pop culture from baseball. But now we're gonna go to one more museum here in Cooperstown. This one is not baseball related, but it has an item, an artifact that I've been wanting to see for a very long time. So we're going to see it while I'm here in Cooperstown. And we have traveled over here to the Farmers Museum. And here it is, right in the lobby of the Farmers Museum. We have the Cardiff Giant, the actual Cardiff Giant. I have been waiting a long time to see this. I'm pretty excited to be able to get this close to the giant. So, this giant was dug up on a farm in Cardiff, New York, and it was believed to be a petrified giant of some sort, an actual living giant that had died and become petrified underground. There's a photo of it being dug up at a farm. The farmer put a tent around it, charged people 50 cents admission, making loads and loads of money. He would eventually sell it to a investment firm for $30,000 in 1869. So that's a lot of money. A lot of money was spent on this. Now, P.T. Barnum actually tried to buy the Cardiff Giant so he could put it on display, but was unable to make the deal happen. So he did what you think Barnum would do, and he made his own competing Cardiff Giant. And I've actually seen that one. Barnum's fake giant is actually at Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum in Michigan. At least it is for now. Unfortunately, they're going to be closing their current location. But eventually, it was sent to different museums, and actually was said that it was actually found itself in the same city. They're both in New York City. The real Cardiff Giant here and Barnum's fake were both in New York City at the same time, but because Barnum was a better showman, his giant was actually more popular, his fake giant, so they actually moved this one to Boston. And finally, in 1869, the hoax was revealed. A cigar manufacturer from Binghamton, New York, admitted that he planted the giant in the field as part of an elaborate hoax. He says his goals were, one, to show how gullible people were, and two, apparently he wanted to challenge people that had literal interpretations of the Bible, trying to throw a monkey wrench into their belief system. So, wow, there it is, the Cardiff Giant. You can see it's got some cracks there in its legs at some point. But yeah, it was a commissioned sculpture. And they tried to make it as lifelike as possible so people would believe it was a petrified body. It really is amazing to be able to get this close to the giant. I'm really excited when I found out this was on display here. Actually, almost just missed it. They had recently shipped it off to a different museum for a temporary display, but it just got back last month. Yeah, so excited about meeting the giant, but let's check out the rest of the Farmers Museum. There's an exhibit on pollinators. There's a beehive cover, one of the bee smokers that helps calm down the bees, and one of those terrifying beekeeper costumes. When I was at Hershey Dark Knight, one of the scare actors actually jumped out wearing a beekeeper's outfit. Something about it is terrifying to me. And we have a carousel here, of course, upstate New York, known for its carousels. This is the Empire State Carousel here, opened in 2006. All the figures are custom hand-carved for the carousel, and apparently all tie into a New York theme. And you can definitely see some interesting figures there. The cow, there's a skunk over there. It looks like someone was riding a fish. Walk around and take a look at the animals here up close. You can see the frog there. The frog's got, looks like the frog's going to school. Got the books. There's a Canadian goose there, wearing a hat. Looks like there is a spinning car. Oh, this is like a lynx. Yeah, there's so many animals on this individual carousel that I've never seen on a carousel before. It's a bird eating a fish. Oh, I like the skunk there. I don't think I've ever seen a skunk before. There's the swan carriage. And look at that, there's a fish you can ride on. Like how this dog has the cross there of the bones. Yeah, and apparently this boat here is one of the boats that would travel on the Erie Canal. You'd have to duck down to go under the low bridges. Oh, here on the side of the carousel, you've got P.T. Barnum showing off the Cardiff Giant. Not the one we saw inside, the other Cardiff Giant. And look at this squirrel here with his basket of nuts. Oh, oh, that beaver. Beaver is amazing. And the raccoon there carrying his trash can because they like to eat trash. Oh, why is this pig? Pig's got a bag that says 1 cent on it. I guess because he's a piggy bank. Just some real creativity here. But I think this is going to be our stallion. We've got this really cool mouse here with the I Love New York on his hat. He's got the map of New York on his side, playing the drum. Yeah, I think we got to ride the mouse. Never rode a mouse on a carousel before. And off we go. The organ over there. I was informed the mouse I'm riding is Denny the deer mouse. All the different animals have their own names and identities. Yeah, the summer of carousel is technically over, but I would still put this up there. Probably one of my top 5 favorite carousels. Maybe I'll do a list at some point, my top favorite carousels. And I was fortunate enough to get on the carousel by myself. I'm the lone person riding the carousel. And here we enter the historic village. I guess we can enter the buildings here. Different displays in here. These are little miniature washing machines. These are patent models of old-timey washing machines. And a little display here on ironing. A lot of laundry-related information in this house. I think this is the blacksmith shop in here.
As long as there's air in the upper chamber, as it falls, it pushes the air into the fire. So it's a continuous flow, more similar in function to a bagpipe than a...
So a whole living museum back here. This is the printing office.
This press is called a Liberty Job Press. It was patented in 1860, and all I need to do to run it is get this wheel spinning. That roller is going to automatically ink the type, pick up more ink from this circular plate here, and give me a perfect press every single time.
Oh, wow.
You can keep this if you like.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. See some of the things that have been printed here. Doing an exhibition on laughing gas, nitrous oxide. And then look at that, a poster for the Cardiff Giant. A peek here into Dr. Jackson's office. See what Dr. Jackson's been working on. Oh, looks like he's been doing some bloodletting there, and bleeding people of their problems. And then, uh-oh, Dr. Jackson's been practicing phrenology. Oh, that's quackery, Dr. Jackson. This here is the pharmacy. Now, the pharmacy here You can smell all these herbs, things hanging up. Different jars of whatnot.
Raw materials.
Yes, these are ginger pills.
Yes.
You see the garden here where they grow all the different herbs and whatnot for the pharmacy. A big church. Look inside here. This is Cornwallville Church. And next to the church here, you see pumpkins adorning this cemetery. Now, this looks like a real cemetery. There's real gravestones here, but apparently these are real gravestones, but they're not bodies buried here. These are, I guess, discarded or unused or previously used gravestones. If someone maybe replaces a gravestone, they would get it here and put it in their graveyard. But yeah, very realistic looking cemetery here. Have this big cutout hog in front of this hay maze. A hay maze, I guess, easier than a corn maze because you can actually see the entire maze while you are walking through it, so you can plan ahead. Oh yeah, here's the exit right here. Easier than any corn maze I've ever been through. It looks like there was some sort of scarecrow contest, and this one says you look just like Taylor Swift in this light. The shirt says a lot going on at the moment. Look at the face there. It's like a pantyhose stuffed with hay. Looks like we've got some Thanksgiving turkeys. How are you doing there, Mr. Turkey? Gobble, gobble, gobble. Oh, there he goes. Giving us a gobble. Thank you. Thank you for the gobble. I appreciate it. From here, we're walking out onto the actual farmyard at the Farm Museum. See some of the animals here. We got the pigs. Oh, there they are. Just hanging out in the mud, as pigs are wont to do. We enter the barnyard through here. Well, hey there. Hey, baby cow. How are you doing? Hey, buddy. He's eating his food, drinking his water. Are you a nice cow? Oh, you are a nice cow. Oh, that feels funny. Hey, buddy. Got some goats over here. Hey there, goat. Oh, look at that. A free-range chicken. And out here we have the mama cow. Walk down here. We have these giant horses. How are you doing there, Mr. Horse? Are you a nice horse or a mean horse? Can I pet your nose? Want to smell my nose? There, you're a nice horse. Oh, what a nice horse. You are a nice horse. And this is Bump's Tavern here. Now I've learned that tavern doesn't always mean just a bar. A tavern used to be used as a way to describe a certain type of hotel. There's the sitting room and one of the bedrooms. But this over here is the actual bar at the tavern. They'd serve alcohol out of these steins here. So different bedrooms up here on the second floor. Yeah, it looks like back in the day, a tavern was more like a bed and breakfast. If we head out here onto the balcony, we can get a nice look at the farm here. Wow, you know what? It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day here. Gorgeous autumn day here in upstate New York. The weather is perfect. The trees are beautiful, and it's just an adorable little town. So thank you for joining me here today in Cooperstown, New York. The wonderful farm museum here. Got to see the Cardiff giant, and also got to see not only the baseball wax museum, but the baseball Hall of Fame. And I'm still just thinking about Abner Doubleday, how the ravings of a literal madman created the actual Baseball Hall of Fame, because one guy once made this ridiculous claim that Abner Doubleday created baseball in Cooperstown, New York. Became myth became legend, and legend became reality. And now, even though Cooperstown has no actual connection to the creation of baseball, that's where the Hall of Fame is. But it's fine. It's fine. It's a piece of American history, a lot of American history built on tall tales. So I think it's very fitting. And really, this is a beautiful town, a perfect place, a baseball fan's absolute paradise here, as well as fans of farming and fans of famous hoaxes. But thank you guys so much for coming with me today. I've had a wonderful time here in Cooperstown. If you do like these videos, at least consider hitting the subscribe button. If you're new here, I travel around filming roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, events, and other fun, random stuff. If you'd like to help out the channel in other ways, consider contributing to Patreon. $3 or more get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop, as well as press pennies and stickers. Doing personalized messages on Cameo. All that information can be found in the description of this video. All those things help keep this train on the track, this boat on the water, and this baseball flying high through the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.